Hi guys, welcome to the first ever podcast done by the Brand Block. My name is Jaasir. I'm going to be emceeing this today. I'm here with my good mate Rajpal, who is like an expert designer, and he's going to be talking about what brands are, why they're so important, and why they're so important in the blockchain space.
Thanks, Jaasir. You've given me a lot to do there.
Yeah, I have. But All right, I'm here with you.
Oh, that's good, man. Thanks. I need emotional support through this, so just make sure you give it to me.
I'll try.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. So should we just get this started? And do you want to ask me some questions?
Yeah, let's just start off on the most important one. What is a brand, man?
Okay, so, it's quite hard to define what a brand is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and use an analogy that I always use. So let me just ask you a question here.
Yep.
When I say the word Nike, what comes to your mind?
Adidas.
Okay, not a competitor's name. Let's try this one.
That's how much I like the competitor.
Okay, let's just say Adidas then, right?
Okay.
If you say Nike, I swear that I'm leaving this podcast. But okay, if I say the word Adidas.
Yeah. 3 stripes.
Okay, what else do you say?
Sportswear.
Okay.
Football. Training, tennis. Loads of different sports and activities in gym.
So do you know what's quite fascinating there is that without me even showing you an advert, without me showing you anything, any sort of material, just by me saying the brand name, you've built up all these associations that are obviously linked directly to Adidas.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Through their marketing, the association of their products to an actual use case.
How do you feel about the brand as well? When you hear the word Adidas, what comes to your mind?
Generally, it's always been a positive vibe with them. I prefer them over pretty much all the other brands in sports.
Wow.
So whenever I buy my gym clothes or any sports clothes, I actually prefer, and even trainers.
So you would say the product is one?
Yeah, I like their quality. I feel is a lot better than other brands.
Have you ever dealt with any Adidas staff as well?
No, actually, yes. In one of their stores, I met with them. I had a good experience.
Yeah. So I guess in a nutshell, brand is how, it's the feeling that the customer feels about your company. It's more, how do you build on that feeling? How do you create a positive environment for that customer? How do you create a good product that makes the customer feel like this is a good product? That they want to talk about that product to other people. How do you use different marketing materials to create that association of health and fitness with that product? It's building a brand is a very complex thing, but essentially what it is, it's about creating developing a, how can you best put this? Developing
an image, right?
And it's something that
perception.
your customer, it's the perception your customer has of your company.
Yeah. And
people take this very lightly. I feel like with any business nowadays, especially small-time entrepreneurs that are just starting up, all they're thinking about is, I just want to make quick money, I just want to make some social media content, I just want to get myself out there. They're not thinking about their customer. What do they want? How do they build that relationship with that customer?
Yeah.
How should they position themselves in the market? What kind of a brand appeal do they want to have as well?
So you bring up some really good points. So let's just say I'm a business. What are the top 3 points that I should take into consideration when building my brand?
So I think, essentially product is always going to be king.
Yeah.
Your product has to be of a good standard, depending on what price point you're going into. But, essentially, if your product's good, people want to talk about it, they'll recommend it, and that adds to your overall brand image, both on and off the web.
Yeah.
I also think your marketing and advertising needs to be quite clever. I think advertising is a very powerful mechanism that can shape emotions that your customer feels about your product or service. If you're creative with the way that you market your product, generally those sort of things stick in people's heads. If let's say John Lewis have those Christmas adverts, but you love watching them, but again, it's just created a positive kind of connotation with John Lewis.
King of Christmas adverts probably Coca-Cola though.
There you go. Let's look at Coke. You got the jingles, you got everything. Santa Claus himself is branded as red because of Coke. That's the power of advertising. You can create this whole image just by showing people things. It's quite special. And then I guess the final thing would be how your staff and how the customer service that you build around that product and service as well. So let's just say you bought a pair of trainers from Adidas and you contacted the headquarters and they were like, no, we don't want to deal with you. Generally, you're going to have a negative feeling towards that brand after dealing with that. You might even say that I'm going to boycott them. So I think those three things are generally very, very, they're central to how a brand should, what a brand should consider. And also, I feel like if you look at all of that, it's all to do with the customer.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to the customer. If you create something for the customer that adds value to their life, if you show the customer something that will excite them, interest them, shape their, emotions, if you make the customer feel special, generally your brand will come out strong.
Now, this is pretty cool. Now, this can actually tie into, the blockchain universe is why we're here.
Yep.
And you must have heard of so many different blockchain projects, so many different cryptocurrencies that are now available, which are obviously use cases of blockchain.
Yep.
And the one thing I think with all these hundreds of thousands of projects coming up, every day there's 2 or 3 new projects that come in.
Yeah. Like any business.
Like any business, of course. And a lot of them are pretty much startups.
Yeah.
What do you think is the key? Out of all the things that you've spoken, what do you think is the one thing they should definitely all thrive to use?
Well, I mean, it's not a case about what they should thrive to use, but again, I just feel like they need to have their customers in the forefront of whatever they're doing, whatever strategy they're trying to create.
Yeah.
They need to think, okay, this is my ICO, this is who I'm targeting, this is what I need to, these are the kind of people that I want to attract.
Yeah.
This is the stuff I need to show them. This is the stuff I need to talk about. This is how I should position myself, even in terms of look, design, feel. So I think it just goes back to putting your customers first, really. It's a very basic premise,
I agree. I mean, a lot of the projects nowadays, I think a lot of them are very confused about who their target audience really is. I think a lot of them actually struggle in, arguably, who is their actual use case, who's actually going to use their application in their currency.
Which is quite silly if you think about it, because in business, right, when you create a business model, the first thing you do is market research.
Yeah.
You try to test out hypotheses to see if there's actually a demand for your product.
Yeah.
Now, the only way you can see if there's a demand for your product is if you have a sort of target audience that you want to approach. If you have no target audience, you're kind of just going in blind. It's just a poor business.
It is what I mean. The amount of projects I've met, and whenever I ask their CMOs and people in their marketing team, who's your target audience, 90% of the time I've heard one word: everybody. And then that's
it's like fishing. It's like fishing, right?
You cast a net out into this deep sea, and you catch no fish. That's basically what happens. And I think all of us know how poor that is, and that answer makes me cringe.
No, that goes back to social media marketing. So people obviously, I don't know if you've ever done, I know you've done this, where we've kind of created a post and we boosted it to a very broad target range, and we all sit and think, oh, why is this post not performing well?
Yeah.
It's because we haven't targeted it. It's just wasting money.
I mean, another issue is and I've met so many clients and people that I work with, and we always talk about this. Who do you actually want to target?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Who are your followers? Who are your influencers? Who actually likes you?
Yeah.
And those are the people that you kind of want to target. And I don't know, blockchain projects in general, I think what they're doing now is they use blockchain as the main selling point. And what happens is, we're a cool blockchain project. No one really cares.
Yeah,
it's a really hard truth. Is that no one really cares.
I guess the truth is also it goes back to entertaining through content. Let's just see if we're using content as a form of how you're going to build your connection with your brand audience. Sorry. At the end of the day, on social media, everyone wants to escape. No one's really there to be advertised to.
Yeah.
And it goes back to how corporations advertise on social media as well. Most of the time, you will unfollow a brand or something when they're trying to sell you something. It's just it's not interesting. It's not entertaining. It's not a form of escapism. So, with blockchain, for example, I mean, let's just say you are a blockchain project and you want to you want to build a brand.
Yeah.
One, if you have no target audience, you won't know what your customers are interested in. If you don't know what their interests are, how are you going to create stuff that's going to, entice them and get them interested into your product in the first place?
No, that's all. It's also what you're saying, but I think the one thing that I think that's key is what value are you bringing?
Yeah, I guess in a product sense, yeah.
I mean, if you don't know your value and if you don't know your actual use case, or if there's not a problem that you're solving, why are you doing it? And that's, I think, the question I think many blockchain projects really need to answer is, what value am I bringing? Who am I bringing value to? And is there a problem I'm actually solving? Because if there's not a problem you're solving, then you're doing something which is creative, or you're doing something for other motives.
Right.
And I think people now, definitely with this bear market, obviously in crypto space, everyone is looking through that now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of the things I think these projects really need to get out there is what value are we providing people and what problem are we solving? And that should be the forefront of your brand.
The question is though, right? Why are people not clocking onto this? If you think about it, it's actually what we've spoken about is quite common business sense. It's like, why is it that people are in such a rush to get their ICOs onto the market and to make a quick buck and just to, is it because people are scared that technology is disruptive and it's going to change over the time? What's the reason? Why is everyone
within the last year? So last year, if you were in the crypto space, friends that came into the space, they probably walked out with hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of pounds that they made with a couple of months. And the thing about ICOs is, so any Tom, Dick and Harry can get involved. You don't have to be an accredited investor. An ICO is open to everyone. And that gives everyone an equal opportunity to make a lot of money. Now, the thing with projects were able to gain, it's like crowdfunding on a multi-million-pound project. Right? So that's essentially what the whole hype about ICOs were. And to be fair, they worked, but I think they were kind of tainted, I guess, probably the best word for it. Everyone who put money in last year made money. Because there was so much demand in the market, everyone was buying it and there was a lot of hype. And that speculation, that hype basically made people become really rich. When the crash happened, now we have a bear market. We have all these projects that were scams and whatnot. They have started to slowly die out. And now what you're left with is the people hardcore, I wouldn't say hardcore, but the people that are actually here in blockchain, not for the money, but for the growth, the potential of blockchain and actually trying to improve people's everyday lives and even businesses' lives.
Which is quite reassuring, I guess. I guess before, the product life cycle was bare minimum. I guess people were just getting in there just to solve one need. They weren't thinking of the long-term kind of thing.
No, of course. Arguably, what is a use case that's currently exists in blockchain? And many people will argue that there isn't one at the moment. But I think it's still... I think we've learned a lot over the last year. Everyone that tried a different project, there's a lot of cool things that people did and that we can learn from that actually, this doesn't work, or this didn't work then, it might work now because people are a lot more mature, or that it didn't work then, but this is what they did wrong and this is how we can learn from it. And I think it's really good. People have got to jump in and try to start something, and I think we have the ability to learn from our mistakes. And I think this is a great time to be in the space because everyone here now
is experienced.
I would say experience is actually a very good word. I would say there's no experts, because the technology is moving way too quickly for there to be any experts. But no, it's I think it's going in a good pace. But we're kind of off topic though. But in terms of back to brands, so branding in blockchain, I think it's just something which is currently missing, and I think the reason for it. Most of the people in blockchain come from a technical background. They're very gifted in terms of coding, in terms of computers. A lot of them struggle on actually how to run a business, how to actually create a brand, a following, how to gain influencers.
Would you say they struggle with communicating in general?
I've met some coders that I would say it's not their speciality. They definitely need that assistance. They definitely need a good marketing team or business side. Because
at the end of the day, branding is all about communicating with your customer as well. It's communicating your vision. So I guess that's your biggest issue. If you're in a space where everyone's tech driven and everyone's focused very much on the product side and developing the product, there's not much thought gone into communications and how to communicate the product and the vision. And I think that's probably why branding is lacking. In building a brand is not a major concern, but at the same time it should be, because it's what's going to give you everything.
I think it comes with understanding, right? I think the issue is a lot of projects don't understand the importance of branding, the importance of marketing. They think that if they have a lot of developers are absolutely they're super intelligent, and I think for their stances they believe that if my project, if my creation is good enough, it will sell itself.
See, that's the thing I've dealt with. It's actually quite similar, not on just a blockchain level, but just in a general tech kind of level, in terms of apps and things. I've worked with entrepreneurs that have really good ideas about an app that they want to launch, but they miss the whole boat when it comes to how do you get the downloads. They think that just because they create an app, suddenly it's going to be the next best thing.
If no one knows about it, then no one.
They forget that most apps, there's so many apps being pushed through onto the App Store daily. It's about the branding and the marketing. It's same with Kickstarter. Like, so many people think that, if I create a Kickstarter campaign, I'll instantly get, all my sales. They don't realize that there's actually a lot of brand building going behind the scenes, like creating videos, creating social media campaigns to send traffic to the Kickstarter pages. Everyone misses the point on that. And it's like I said, it's not, I feel like it's a technology kind of issue. I feel like tech people, or not just tech people, anyone who has an idea thinks that idea will sell itself just because it's a good idea. They forget that actually to sell an idea, they need to show the customer the idea. They need to build a relationship with the customer. They need to make it look good for the customer. There's so many different factors that only business people or brand experts grasp, really.
No, it's a whole process, and that's what it is. But I think we're running out of time now, Rajpal, but it's been awesome having you on.
Thank you, yeah.
I want to thank all the listeners as well. Like, we really hope you're able to learn something. This conversation was valuable to you, and if you are a blockchain project, we hope you can actually use some of this advice and actually look at and try to understand the importance of why it's so crucial and important for you to actually learn about marketing and branding and
to implement it within the system, because it's a process. To build a brand, there's so many processes, like you said, there's so many different complex things that you need to think about, but they are critical to the success of your business. Product development is just one part of the puzzle. It's
a big process, and a lot of time goes into it, so it's definitely worth you getting people in your team and actually working with others, or even getting some help if you do need that help, to help understand it and to actually work on some of these areas.
I think one final bit of advice I'll give to anyone who's in this space, really take some time to understand your target audience. Because if you don't know your target audience, how are you going to create the most valuable proposition for them on any level? Regardless of marketing or whatever, or advertising. If you don't know your target audience, you're probably going to miss out on some features that you can add to your product side that will make the app that much more valuable. So, if you take some time and really try narrowing down on who your target audiences are, create a product that's right for them, and then build a brand around them, their interests, creating social media content that is tailored to them, creating advertising that creates a relationship with them, you'll be on to a winner. But
I think that advice is awesome. I think that actually doesn't just apply to blockchain projects, but applies to every single business.
Yeah, definitely.
And whatever you're doing, if you can follow that, I can guarantee you'll have a successful business. Because if your customer's happy, you're going to get more business. They'll recommend you.
Yeah,
but no, thanks so much, Rajpal. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. We definitely look to bring you more podcasts. Hopefully a few every month. But if you guys have any questions, please get in contact with us. You can message us at info@brandblock.io or send us a message on social media. Again, my name is Jaasir. You can find me on pretty much any platform. And Rajpal, do you want to give yourself a plug-in?
Just Rajpal Recchi. So if you just Google me, maybe even check me out on Instagram, that'd be great. Follow me, send me a message if there's anything that if you'd like to discuss. I'm always interested in talking to businesses.
And we love to help each other businesses out as well. So definitely get in touch, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. See you guys.
Bye.